And I used to have that in like a dream form. So I'd be in my cabin.
No.
And I would just sit up bolt right. And I'd be like, no, I'm not asleep. And you know when you wake up and you don't know where you are, it takes you that like 30 seconds of you looking around like, where am I? Just to feel good at the end of the
day. Welcome back, everybody. It's finally here. The third episode of RBS Go. And none other than James is finally back from ship after his 10-11 weeks of being away.
Yep, just got back, so
oh my god.
Happy to be back in, let's say, civilized time zone again.
Civilized, quote unquote. Well, today's episode is a pretty interesting one. It might go on for a bit. You could probably see it on the time codes right now. We are talking about dreams. But if you are new, let me tell you about RBS Go. It stands for Random Bullshit Go. Do you even know where that's from, James? Do you know the reference?
No, you're forgetting that I'm an old man here.
It's not. But it's an old meme. It's Moon Knight. It's one of the comics of Moon Knight.
No, I started watching that TV show only just recently on Disney. So I'm like,
it's a pretty good one.
I'm like 3 episodes in.
It's better than the other Marvel ones, but that's not what we're talking about today. This weekend, I actually had a dream, which I will go into detail further later. First, I want to bring you a little fact about dreams. Some people do not even remember their dreams or dream at all. And this can be because their REM sleep is interrupted by a substance, such as alcohol or marijuana, or mental health conditions like depression. So, if you're having no dreams whatsoever, either stop the drugs, either stop the alcohol, or go see a therapist. That's probably the way to treat it. Did you know that?
Slightly. I can never remember my dreams in any way, shape, or form. I don't know how you...
really?
Only substances make me dream, and I'll get onto a point later on that makes me dream vividly. A lot of people may or may not have taken it. But it's legal, which is the interesting thing.
Are we talking about shrooms?
No. Melatonin.
Melatonin?
Have you ever had that?
No.
It's a sleep aid. So when I'm on ship, I have to change my sleep patterns quite a lot. So instead of going to sleep at, let's say, 10, 11, 12, a normal person's sleep schedule, let's say, I sometimes have to go to sleep for weeks on end at 4 in the afternoon. So
God.
When you're shifting from a midnight sleep pattern to a 4 in the morning sleep pattern, 4 in the afternoon, sorry.
Yeah.
That just messes you up. So I have these melatonin gummy bears. I got them when I was in America because I can't get them in the UK because they don't.
Of course not.
You can't buy melatonin. You can the only natural sleep aids in the UK you can get are natural herbal remedies, these sort of things. Or if you're really struggling, you can go to the doctors and get prescriptions. But this melatonin is just over the counter in America, no issues.
What is the last dream you remember? Do you remember your last dream?
No. With the melatonin, you can't remember your dream, really, because it's so chaotic. But you wake up and the first thing going through your head is, what the fuck is all that about? Because you will dream. There's no way you won't dream. But the dream is so real and so vivid. But
it will leave impressions.
So random. Like, you just wake up being like, what the fuck was that all about?
Well, a lot of people probably know I have a big imagination, a gigantic sense of imagination, so I dream all the time. For some reason, a lot of my dreams actually take place in church, even though I'm not Christian anymore.
I was going to say, you got religious background with that?
Yeah, my parents raised me, as a Christian, but didn't really turn out the way they liked, but that's another subject. We can talk about religion someday. It's quite a topic, though. But yeah, I have a lot of dreams. My last dream was actually that I went to church with my parents because they asked me to, and I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it. And then midway through it, I was like, fuck this, I'm just going home. The thing is, they brought me with the car, and it's like 6 kilometers from home. And I was like, I want to go home so badly, I can't take this anymore. So I remember that I just ran home, and I know the exact place of where my church is because it's the exact same building as my old high school. And it didn't make sense at all. There was a hill where there should not have been a hill. There was a crosswalk where there should not have been a crosswalk. There were roads completely wiped, but I did somehow still get home. It was really weird. And when I woke up, that's the first thing I thought as well. Like, what the fuck was this? And I'm sure there was more to that dream. But obviously, you won't remember that. It's always like the last part. And what I also have, and I don't know if that's relatable, is when I remember a dream, it's probably because I got woken up. Not because I woke up myself.
Something
naturally.
Interrupted your cycle. Like, let's say
exactly.
A noise outside, some external force.
Yeah, like the day I dreamed that, the night I dreamed that, I woke up because of my dog being an absolute shitbag and howling all over the place. I love her to death, but dogs are so loud. Holy shit. So I woke up because of that, but I did get that dream out of that. And I've also had dreams as a kid that I had several times and that I have extra good memory of because I had them so many times. And I don't know if that's relatable to you.
What, get my dream cycle interrupted?
No, the having dreams several times.
Oh.
So many times that you are just remembering them.
Yes, I have a few. I don't know. There's 2 scenarios or 3 dreams that always come back to plague me, and they're not nice dreams.
Oh god.
Yeah. Have you ever had a night terror?
Of course, that's the ones that are reoccurring the most for me.
But like mine has been like full on sleep paralysis where I'm lying on the bed and you're having the dream, but you know you're dreaming because things start ticking up. Like you're conscious this is a dream. And that is where I really get scared. Like it's not even a bad one. If you like read cases of people that have had sleep paralysis, you know it's god awful dream. And it only ever happened in this apartment. I have never had it elsewhere. And the sleep paralysis is in this apartment. I am aware of the apartment. So I'm like, okay, this is very weird. So like, for example, I'll be lying asleep on the bed. And I think I wake up. And you're like, okay. So my bedside light has, you know, like the toggle switch.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going for the toggle switch and I have it in my hand and I can't flick it. And I'm like, why can't I manipulate this little switch? You know, a child can do it. And that's like my first inkling that this isn't real because I can't physically turn this switch on.
Oh,
and then,
God.
And then I can sit up, but then my legs can't move. So then I'm stuck in the bed.
Oh,
and then you just hear all these noises and things, and then you go into fight or flight mode, and you eventually wake up because I think your body gets so stressed, and it's just a horrible feeling.
Oh my god, those are the worst. The nightmares that are placed within an actual location, and
it's always in my apartment.
Jesus, get the fuck out! Didn't your girlfriend want to move?
And maybe someone's died here. And the other 2 scenarios is there's one that so when I'm on ship, and if I'm on the night shift, I can put this deadlight, which is a cover against the glass, to make it completely black. And that's for rough weather to stop any sort of waves potentially breaking the glass and then flooding the ship. So it has a real purpose. It's just when I go onto the night shift, it just gets closed down and I'm in what I would say is pure darkness. So the little charging light on your laptop, that becomes like the sun at night and you can see things. So you have all these little electronics that charge.
Yeah, right.
And they all cast off these different lights. And you don't think about it, but like just looking around, you know, like the standby light on your TV, these give off lights and shadows. And I always wake up. And I do it here. And I've got used to it so much that I always see figures of things standing in the room.
Oh,
and
I had that so much as a child.
I get it, but I've become so desensitized by it. Like, if there was someone in there going to kill me, I would wake up, look at them, I'm like, fuck it, and just roll over to sleep. And it really...
You'd be like, I just want to know.
Yeah, and it really pisses off the missus. Because she'll wake up and she'll see me, because on my side of the bed, I can look straight into the walk-in wardrobe, whereas she's on the other side, so she sees it at an angle. And she'll wake up and she'll see me just sort of like, not sat up, but just, not lying down either. I'm like in that halfway stage where I'm propped up. Yeah. And she's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I'm like, there's just someone in the wardrobe. I can see this figure. And then I look at her and I'm just like, fuck it. And I just roll over back to sleep. And at this point, she's proper freaking out, turning the light on. And I get it all the time on ship, If there's someone to kill me, I'm just like, fuck off. Leave me be. I want to sleep.
Just let me sleep. I have never had that. I did see figures when I was younger. I remember walking a dog one time, and I would just see literally the physical manifestation of what people call death. I would see it like take shapes in trees and stuff, especially like the acacia trees, the white ones. They can really fuck you up in the dark. Like they can take these forms that you don't even know exist. But what I don't really relate to the paralysis. I've had that as a child, of course. That's also why I slept with a little night lamp. And I do think that for a child it is necessary, since you will be seeing fucked up shit as a child, since your imagination is so much bigger. It's absolutely insane. Now that I'm older, the worst thing that could happen is a nightmare. But I don't really wake up sweating anymore. Well, unless it's summer, of course. But the worst nightmares I've had as a child. I remember one that was in the backyard of my previous house, and we had a slide with a little area underneath the slide that we always used as a little, I guess you could call a little shed. We would we had a little sandbox in there as well. We played in it. And one night I dreamed the entire slide being barricaded and just monsters being trapped into it. One looking like a crocodile, the other one looking like a wolf, all with red blood eyes. And that dream came back so many times, and it was so scary that I think that's when I shit the bed the most. And I've never shit the bed afterwards. But I think I told you this one dream that was really weird. It was actually a dream that you were in as well. It was that I was visiting England. And then it got turned into this weird sexual dream. And afterwards I found out, because of why it turned into a sexual dream. It wasn't anything with you. We went to someone's computer, and then you know how when you play a game in a dream that you get transferred into the dream, into the game?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. And then the game got very sexual, and then I woke up. I found out that a mosquito bit my balls.
Ooh. And you do not want to hit that.
God, that completely fucked up that wholesome dream, because it was genuinely pretty wholesome. It started off with us killing someone. And then I think we went to Annie's house, which people don't know Annie, and we went to play on her computer, and then the weird stuff happened. Yeah, my imagination goes everywhere. And I do think it has to do with the fact that I'm also someone with a photographic memory. Not a good one, but I do remember things in pictures. And I don't know if that's the same for you. If I think James, the man with the balding head and the beard.
Oh god, yeah, that hair's gone. Don't you worry. At some point, I'm just going to shave it all off. Maybe 1 or 2 more years.
So you don't have that? You don't think, if you think of a person, you don't think of their...
I wish I had an eidetic or a better memory. I know there's memory techniques that people can do to train themselves to think like that or remember, where, you think of red, okay, that's the color of my coffee cup, so I'll associate that with coffee or things like that. But for me, my memory, I have to really forcefully engage it to make myself learn.
Okay, so if you are thinking to yourself, Embo asked me to play Apex, then your brain will just scan those words?
No, I set myself a lot of reminders. On the phone, for example. There's lots of little things that I, at work, I have to remember, and then big important things. So I set, little notes for myself to remind myself, do this, do that. My best thing is, because there's so many things that I have to do at work, people keep calling small little jobs. So we have this. It's called IBM Notes. It's like a email client that's on the ship. And the best thing about that is you can create yourself little alarm calendar reminders. So I have like 5 or 6 things going off all the time at different times. So you're sitting on watch and you're like, what the fuck's that noise? So you go over to the PC and it's like, oh yeah, you need to do this. And I'm like, okay, no problem.
I guess that is handy, but I've tried planning and stuff as well with timers and calendars, but then I just let it go. I just drop. I don't know why, but my memory is way better than
I have to be super organized because I have to complete things in a month, and then I plan for the whole month, and then I get really rumbled when people break my planning with other things.
So I guess in a way we are the complete opposites. You are someone who thinks more planning, and I just...
Yeah, I don't have that good a memory, so I openly know that, so I print out the calendar for the month and I plan this on these days, and then I know I have these days to do different things.
Okay, let's test. So, how bad is your memory? What did you eat yesterday? Because I remember what you were eating yesterday.
What? My chicken, rice.
Okay, so it's
it's not that bad.
God, the dogs in your background.
I know. I'm tempted to close the window, but I did put the muffler even on the mic, though, which you can see.
Oh yeah, the little pop filter.
Yeah, I called it the Furry Condom.
Whoa. Okay, rewind a few steps. You gotta explain that one.
I was talking to Annie, and you could always hear the click clack of my keyboard because it's a sensitive mic. So I was like, okay, I have this pop filter, and we were discussing because it was like, what's the correct terminology? It's like, is it pop filter? Is it muffler? Is it whatever? And I was just like, okay, I give up. I just call it the Furry Condom.
Jesus. I actually want to get a new mic as well because of that. Wait, here's a little test. Let me type in something. I'm going to send it to you as well. Oh, you can't hear it because I don't have my sensitivity high enough. Let me just do that real quick. Go to this and then this. And now you should be able to hear everything in my room, including... Do you hear that? It still doesn't pick up. Well, the people at home hear it. I basically want to get a microphone it's called the Logitech Blue Sona, and it's the direct concurrent of the Shure SM7B, which is currently the best microphone out there for podcasts and everything. Like Joe Rogan uses it, our direct rival, of course, and a few others as well. The difference between the Blue Sona and the Shure SM7B, though, is that the Blue Sona works on itself, and it can like filter the backgrounds out on itself as well. You have little buttons on the back, and the Shure SM7B needs like $100 of equipment as well to make it work at all, like a preamp. So I really want to get the Sona Blue, and also because it's newer. It's the newest microphone. It's the first microphone under Logitech Blue. Because Blue, if people didn't know, that was a company on its own that made microphones at first. And then Logitech bought Blue, and this is their first microphone.
I had my, the Blue Snowball.
Oh, yeah. That could be, I don't know if that's a good one, but...
It was, it's better than like a headset or something. It was a dedicated standalone mic, but...
Right.
It was just such an awkward shape, and even this is a Blue Yeti I have.
Ah, right.
And I have a boom arm for it, but I'm just looking at my desk. I set it up and my setup all before going to see, and I quite liked it, and now I'm looking at it and I want to change it again. Just fiddle around. Because I want to get the mic onto the boom arm instead of just sitting there.
Right. That's not really a dream, though, is it? Microphones.
Oh, no. Welcome to one of our lovely side tangents.
Oh, yes.
Where we've gone down a different, wonderful, winding rabbit hole.
Well, now, if you were looking for a microphone, you have a few options. I haven't bought the Blue Zone. I currently have the Divine USB mic, which is not a bad mic, as you can hear. It's just a mic that picks up a lot, as you heard earlier. But yeah, dreams. Dreams. Yes. I have a lot of dreams that are linked to whatever I am really into that moment. Sometimes it's completely random, like last weekend where I dreamed about church. But I also dream a lot about games and movies and stuff. And I also
Oh, it's what you're passionate about, aren't you? You're more
bit.
creative than me. You have that spark and drive.
Yeah, but I also kind of make myself wanting to dream that by really thinking about it. What I do is before I go to bed, I always watch something. Currently, it's the anime with 1,000 episodes called One Piece. If you know, you know. But that's pretty long while to go. But I am a binge watcher, so I'll just watch like 2-3 episodes before I go to sleep. And then I'll be still in that world, still thinking about that world while I'm trying to sleep. And sometimes I'm lucky enough to have a dream about it. And sometimes I don't. It really depends. As a kid, I really wanted to be in Batman movies and stuff. Or Batman media. So I bought everything Batman related, games, movies, shows. And I watched everything. Just so I could watch it before sleeping, so I could be in that world. And it sometimes worked, but still, you won't remember it if you don't get woken up. So that's kind of... And also, if you have a good sleep rhythm, I feel like you can't really remember it. And since now my sleep is kind of all over the place, I start remembering more dreams. Because it's more...
This is probably my best sleep pattern. I've been off ship. Jet lag and a little bit of COVID has done wonders for my sleep cycle.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna sleep at like 10, 11 my time. And I'm wide awake, fully fresh, fully recharged by 7. Like I'd been awake since 6 a.m. this morning.
What have you been doing?
Just up and about. I've been to the gym.
Oh.
I've done laundry.
Gym in the gym.
Yeah, I've done a few other things, you know, being an adult.
Being an adult, yeah. I finally have everything let go since I live with my parents again. But,
Hey.
Hey, you gotta live with what you get. And honestly, I kind of like this.
Well, you're not going to go out your way to do random small things. Like, you're not going to do a wash. Like, you're living with parents. So
Exactly.
Like one large communal wash.
Exactly.
Like my missus, my girlfriend, she's on placement right now, studying practical element of her job or her studies. So I've got 10 weeks off at home. So what am I going to do? Well, tidy the flat, do the cleaning, do the cooking. Why not?
All right. Yeah, I had that too when I had to live on my own. I was on an internship for the people that don't know at a gaming journalist company. I'm not going to say the name of the gaming journalist company because I do at some point in some episode want to tell stories about it. And some of them aren't in a positive light.
With your internship completed now?
Yeah, it's done. I'm now doing exams. The very last one. Actually, tomorrow I have an exam, but it's a presentation, so it's not really that scary.
All done?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, we can play Apex later.
I haven't practiced though. But I think it'll be fine. I made some beautiful slides with Photoshop.
Well, if you want to practice, you can present to me.
Well, they're Dutch.
You can teach me Dutch.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's start with this. The Dutch word for dream is droom.
Droom.
Yes. And dreaming is dromen.
Dromen.
And I have dreamed is ik heb gedroomd.
Ik heb droomd.
Gedroomd.
Is that... Yeah, it's going to take some practice to get that enunciation.
Ik heb gedroomd.
I have dreamed.
I have dreamed. I have a dream that... I don't know. I have many dreams. I don't remember all of them. But aren't there any other dreams that you remember? Like any stories you could tell? Is it just all paralysis?
No, just... I had one recurring at the start of my career. So, as I've talked about, and people who have listened to the podcast know I work on ships. So, my job on ships is basically driving them. I'm the watchkeeper. And when I first started, I had a crippling fear of falling asleep on watch at night.
Oof.
So yeah, what people don't understand is we're not sitting up there with lights on because you have to have your night vision. So when you're up on watch, it is pitch black. You have the screens, the radars, the ECDIS. ECDIS is the electronic charts for people that don't know. You have them on what we call night mode. So it's basically, if you think of inverted colors, white becomes black, or these sort of things. So everything just goes to a very dark palette so it doesn't mess with your eyes.
Yeah, right.
So if it is a quiet night, there's always two officers on cruise ships up on watch, the leader of the watch and an assistant watchkeeper. So if it's a quiet night and sometimes you just want to sit in silence, you know, everyone's human. You might get the old head bob and then you're like, ah, fuck, go get coffee, go do something. It doesn't matter how many hours of sleep you've got. If you're just sitting in the darkness doing nothing, eventually you will get tired. So I had this crippling fear when I first started of falling asleep on watch, and then one of the senior officers walking past being like, James, are you asleep? And I'd be like, no, I'm not asleep, I'm so sorry. And I used to have that in like a dream form, so I'd be in my cabin.
No.
And I would just sit up bolt right. And I'd be like, no, I'm not asleep. And you know when you wake up and you don't know where you are, it takes you that like 30 seconds of you looking around like, and you're just like mashing your chops, your mouth together like, where am I? I'm in my cabin. Okay, I'm in my cabin. What time is it? Am I late for watch? No, I've got another 3 hours to sleep. What the fuck's wrong with me? And you just lie back and you just roll over and go back to sleep.
Oh, but the moment you wake up too early, if you're like waking up 2 hours before when you could have woken up, I can't sleep anymore at that point. I don't want to because I know I'll sleep for too long.
That's when my sleep gets really ruined. I can go back to sleep, but back of my mind knows I need to be awake. So it's now this clock watching. What I mean by that is you'll wake up every 10-15 minutes, look at the clock. Okay, I've got 2 hours. Okay, I've got 1 hour 15. And it's just like that and that and that. So you're not getting rest basically, but you are at the same time. So it's like one of those nights.
God.
It's like the same when I always do the same when I travel to ship, because the day before I go to ship in Glasgow, I have nowhere to park my car. So I go down to my parents, I drop the car off with them, I spend my last day with them, hang out, have a meal, see the dog, see the family before I go away for 10 weeks. So my parents live in the middle of the countryside. So I always get the first flight out of the local airport. So that's a 6 a.m. flight. It takes an hour to get to the airport. So 6 a.m., that means you normally be there 2 hours before flight. So that means I have to be at the airport at 4.
God.
That means I have to be leaving their house at 3 in the morning, which means I have to make the decision that day. Do I bother going to sleep? Because I'll wake up at 2, shit, shower, shave, check all my documents, check everything for the 15th million time before I fly. And then, so that night, I'll go to sleep around 10. I'll be waking up at 2, so I'll get 4 hours sleep, which is okay, because I'll top that up on the flights. And it's just for those 4 hours. It's what I call clock watching. You fall asleep and you know you're going to be awake. So you know you have to fall asleep. So you're falling asleep, waking up, sleep, wake, and you never just truly sleep.
Yeah. But also the thing that you mentioned...
that's where I also kind of dream, because you're messing with your sleep pattern.
Yeah, right.
And there's a few times where you wake up and you're like, that's a really cool dream. And then somehow you go back to sleep and you just pick up in the same dream.
Oh my God, that's so, yeah.
And that's really weird. It happens every now and then, and you're like, how does that happen?
God, I remember so many dreams. As a kid, I remembered a lot. Only like the two that I mentioned. Like, oh no, I didn't mention the other one actually. There was one that I was in a church again. Wow. And then I was Jesus Christ and I got crucified. I was dreaming that as a kid.
Well, you were saying you're an avid dreamer. Do you have any other dreaming traits? And what I mean by that, are you sleep talking, sleepwalking?
Nothing at all.
I was a massive sleepwalker when I was going through puberty.
Oh my
Like,
god.
let's say from the age of 9 to about maybe 15, 16. I know that's not the end of puberty, but for guys or girls, but let's say I'm more established into puberty then. But between 9 and 16, I was a terror.
Oh my god. I am so bad with people that do that. Talk in their sleep or snore. Like, they will just keep me awake all night. There's this one guy, and I don't know if you're listening, but fuck you. You snore louder than my dog barks. It's insane. Let me fucking
your
sleep.
dad?
No, it's not my dad. It's not someone at this place. It's someone I've slept in the same room with on parties and other stuff.
Yeah.
This guy.
But drinking also exacerbates snoring.
Yeah, and obviously, while COVID was going on, I remember one party that I went to, and I had COVID, and I gave everybody COVID there. It was pretty funny, honestly. And fun fact, I also gave an entire bus full of football supporters, and I'm talking about football, you know, what Americans call soccer. I gave all these football supporters COVID because I was in the same bus with them, and it was so fucking stocked with people. And I don't feel bad at all because they were such assholes. It's insane. But COVID really fucked up my sleep, man. I'm a pretty light sleeper, but what I mean by that is the first hour of me falling asleep and the hour of waking up is when I'm very, very weak. That's when you can just tap me and I'll be awake. And then like the 3-4, depends on how many hours of sleep I have, of course, but like the 3-4 middle hours, I am just gone, a log.
My sleeping wake up noises, let's say, is very selective. On a ship is always 24 hours, 7 days a week operations happening. And right beside my cabin door is a watertight door. It's never operated, but they have to be tested every day. So what you test for it is the opening, closing of the cycling function of the door. It has to have an alarm, bell ringing, siren clacked and everything. So that all needs to be tested. And it's an alarm, so it's designed
to be loud,
to be heard, designed to give warning to people, and it is. So this is my door. The alarm is right by my door. It's like you're talking feet away.
God.
It doesn't wake me up.
What the
It doesn't wake me up.
Wow.
It's like selective hearing. You could whisper James to me in a sleep, like just ever so quietly, and I'll instantly wake up. Be like, what do you want? But, you know, someone banging a pot and pan beside my head, no chance. It's like I will wake up to certain noises and I cannot understand it. And it's like when we were driving the ship, when I was in Singapore, it's it's the busiest shipping lane in the world, to Singapore Straits, Malacca Straits. You're talking thousands of ships going through every day, and you really have to concentrate because you don't want to hit something. And so you got Captain standing behind you, and he's trying to ask me like what you're doing with the traffic. And I've said to him a few times, like, look, I'm not taking the piss. I'm not ignoring you. I know you're the captain and you're more senior than me in every way with the job title. But if you want my attention, please just say James and then your question, and I will respond until I ignore everyone behind me.
I get that. You know, when your attention
because there's so much chatter on
Yeah.
the radios. Everyone's talking to one another, and you're like trying to wiggle through traffic. So it's like if you don't say James and then your statement question, I just don't respond. And it's like that when I'm asleep. If you want to wake me up, you just need to say James, and I'm like, hello, what's up?
Wow.
Or that's it.
That's what names are for, you know?
Yeah,
To get your
alerting
attention.
people.
Yes.
But I will say my girlfriend is a super light sleeper. So the simplest of noises will wake her up. So she sleeps with earplugs in. And that's because when she grew up, her mum's a heavy snorer. So she's dealt with that her whole life.
Oh, no.
And so she's grown up with earplugs, basically, for every time she sleeps. And I think it's more like a routine and a comfort thing now than of a necessity. Saying that, I snore if I've got a little bit of a cold, a little bit of illness. I snore for a little bit if I'm on my back, but I am a side sleeper. So during my sleep, I might roll onto my back. So I might inevitably snore for maybe a little bit, but not for the majority of the night. However, she just sleeps with them always in. And since she sleeps with them in, you know that really horrendous default iPhone alarm?
Oh, yeah, I have it. Wait. I have it.
You know what I'm talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Horrible default. That's the one.
God.
And since she has earplugs in,
Yeah.
and she's afraid of sleeping through her alarm, she has it on full volume.
Right. Okay. I've set it for a minute.
Yeah, so she has it on full volume.
Oh, no.
And that makes me go from 0 to 100 in a split second. You know, I'm casually sleeping to peeling myself off the ceiling because I've just been jump scared.
This one.
Oh.
I don't know if you can hear it. Oh, it already ended. Why did it already end? Okay. Well, maybe you heard it for 1 second, but...
Yeah, that's the default one that I love to hate.
God.
And it's just because it's on full volume, it just sends me to the moon.
God. Oh, I hate that so much too, but I use it since it wakes me up very effectively.
Oh yeah, it wakes you up.
So, I'm not complaining.
I'm more of these ones that have like these slow rises, you know, like the birds chirping or something, that just anything that's on a gradient where it starts off quiet and it just slowly gets louder and louder. That wakes me up perfectly.
I had a time where my alarm, I kid you not, was Mr. Blue Sky from what is the band called again? ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And it's actually amazing because it starts like, it sounds like a little radio, and then the bam 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 hits in, and you wake up so happy. I don't know why. Really works.
Talking about alarms, my second officer, he had this. You can set any alarm on any iPhone, smartphone to whatever you want. Voice notes, whatever. So he has this sort of like, let's say, meme alarm where it says, "Wakey, wakey, motherfucker, time to rise and shine." But it's like let's just picture it as some bodybuilder screaming it at you. So he had changed watch, and we were in the middle of arrival, so everyone's up on the bridge, and he just put his alarm on. He put his phone on the back station just to not have it in his pocket. And it was just dead silent. Everyone on the bridge, and it just goes, "Wakey, wakey, motherfucker!" And everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" And you just see this little guy running like,
"Oh shit, my alarm!
Sorry guys!"
Oh,
and the captain's like, "I think everyone's awake now."
Oh, I get that though. If I'm playing music or something.
I hope you heard that noise.
Oh god, the chair. That would wake me up.
This is the thing that needs, like, everyone complains about the clacking of keyboard, but this is the horrible squeakiest chair. I either need to oil it or just buy a new chair, and I would rather have a new chair.
I recommend ergonomic chairs or ergonomic chairs.
Yes, ergonomic chairs over any sort of gaming chair. Having like functional lumbar support and everything for a fraction of the price is. My old back needs it. Yeah,
but back on the subject of dreams, right? Since we're sidetracked a little bit again. Not too much, since we were talking about alarms, which, you know, still relates to sleeping. How do you deal with scary shit? If you've seen like a very scary video or you heard a very scary story and you're going to sleep, how do you deal with that?
I'm not a best person to take advice from, because you've heard earlier that if there's someone standing in my room, I just fucking roll over and go to sleep, like, embrace it. But I think this all stems from when I was maybe like 12. What did I see? I think everyone naturally goes through it. I was really heavy into the horror genre. I loved the horror films. I loved the adrenaline. I loved the music build up. The jump scares, I loved it all, just to get your heart racing. Two things have come from that. One, I still have a love for horror films, but the second thing, which is now the worst thing in the world, and my girlfriend hates watching films with me. With horror films, you can see where this leads. You know, like, oh, you can tell from the first 5 seconds, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to escape, you're going to die. So My prediction of films in the first 5 minutes, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I will say is like 85% accurate. I can depict where this film is going to go.
Yeah, I guess I've
even if
seen,
I haven't
yeah.
haven't seen a film, it could be an old classic. I know nothing about it. It's just a good film. And it'll be like, my girlfriend will look after me. After 5 minutes, I'm looking at her like, yep. And she's like, don't you dare say a fucking word. Don't you dare say a word. And she gets so angry. I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. And then she's asking a question. Like, let's say it's maybe a slight complicated plot. And you know when someone asks you a question and they don't want an answer?
My dad.
So she's asking a question and I'm like, look, do you want an answer or not? And she's like, no. And then she's like, okay, tell me. So then I'll answer her question with a little bit more of an answer than she wanted. And she's like, you fucking ruined the film.
Well, then go watch for someone else then. Huh? How about that?
It's just, I don't know. I can just see why films are like leading.
And movies don't
and
do
it
it
really
for me,
rumbles her. But it's like everyone can. I don't think anyone cares that if you can predict what the film's going to happen.
No.
It's just between A and Z is what's going to happen. Like, I can figure out that, oh, sorry, you're going to die, but how's it going to happen and what's leading up in between?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I have it with scenes in a horror movie. If like a character is walking into a room and there's a trapdoor that he's walking to and the focus is so big on that trapdoor, I'm like, okay, either something is going to jump out or he's going to open the trapdoor. There's going to be jump scary music, but nothing's going to come out. And then after that, the jump scares are going to go. Like, all these tricks I know. And that's why movies don't really scare me anymore, since they're kind of predictable. But
it's
videos online.
To go back to like how I deal with, let's say, if I've watched something that has given me the heebie-jeebies, the fear, I will just watch some other media just to reset the brain.
Right.
So like I'll go onto YouTube, I'll go onto Netflix, go onto Disney, and I'll just watch, you know, like an episode or something. Doesn't matter what it is. My go-to, if I just want to turn my brain off, is something animated. You know, like South Park, Rick and Morty, Disenchanted. These sort of things where you don't have to follow them explicitly. It's kind of like you can turn your brain off and watch them. You don't have to be fully alert. You can just sit there, drool, and watch.
Yeah, true.
And for me, that just resets the brain.
Yeah, I guess, but how do you deal, for example, let me send you a video. I don't know if you know it. People might know the Serbian dancing lady.
Oh, the woman with the knives.
Yes! Bruh, that's so fucking scary. Oh my god. Wait, I found a Serbian video. That's not really gonna work, is it?
What if people don't know the
I'll show a
let's say
video.
the urban legend or the folklore with this. Oh, I'm gonna open it actually in YouTube because Discord and its volume controls is insane.
I know.
I do not want. It's like if you link someone a song, it goes 100% volume.
God, she's so fucking scary though.
But the folklore with this is there's a lady basically just dancing in the street and she's holding basically 2 knives. And the thing is, if you get her attention, she'll run over and kill you. Or attempt to kill you. So if you see her, the thing is you're meant to just walk on and just ignore her.
Yeah, but that's a scary thing, because if it's a sensible person, then what do they care if you are looking at her or not? That's a scary thing, because why would she care if you're looking at her or not? That's what makes it so terrifying, is that it's not a normal human thought, right? Let's say, for example, you yell at me, you swear at me, then it's, well, not weird if I walk over to you and slap you in the face, right? It's not illogical, but the thing is, why would someone care if you are looking at someone?
Yeah. I'm just reading the comments on the YouTube. Sorry, I tuned out then, and I was like, this is the craziest thing, you know. Cameraman always survives.
You don't know that. You don't know that. Maybe the cameraman died and someone found the phone or camera or whatever the next morning. Could be. It's really fucked up. Let's read some of the comments. Yeah. We need a movie with the same story. No, we don't. Please. Like, the scary thing about this is that it's not a movie. It's that someone actually does this. And I used to watch videos like this all the time. Like, unexplainable things caught on camera. And some of them would be really scary. Others would just very logically be played or constructed in a way.
I think it probably started off, as a hoax. But then it just takes one person to take the hoax to be real. Like let's say the person that created this could have just been a guy that put a dress on and a wig and he said, hey, film this, just for a laugh.
Right.
And then it just takes one person to copycat it, and then suddenly this urban legend or myth or whatever has credibility.
Right.
And like the video you linked to me, it even went to news articles saying that the people are telling them not to walk around at night in the area.
If news articles are saying that, then that makes it even scarier, right?
Yeah, because it's getting credibility then.
Yeah, exactly.
It could have just been for fun, but now suddenly it's real because they've made it real.
Yeah, it's really fucked up. And honestly, it's this really freaks me out. Skinwalkers as well. Have you seen?
Oh fuck, I love that.
Oh no, this is scary. Like, yeah, there's this one video of a man standing at a sunset.
I love reading, the people's stories. Oh fuck. I
read it.
My first officer when I was a second, Reddit, whatever bullshit you use to read these, because they're everywhere. But I had a first officer, and she's First Nation. If you're unaware of what that is, it's the Indigenous people of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So she lives in a First Nation settlement area where it is very secluded. It is in the woods. It is like this. And she, through her culture, upbringing, and beliefs, is like she's in two worlds. Let's say she's in the, I don't want to say normal, but Western society, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in her own cultural society where it is Native American style. I'm very naive. I'm very unaware of what First Nation is. But she's in both of these things. So she does like believe in this stuff as well. And we're sitting up in the dark, and I'm reading these stories in pitch black, and she is freaking out, and I love it.
Oh god. Anyway, the video I was talking about, there is this, because what a skinwalker does is, if people don't know, it's like they kill someone and then they take their appearance and they trap someone with that appearance, which is so fucked up. There's this one video of a man just standing still in a big field of, I think it is grass, or very tall grass. And he's standing completely still, and it's a complete silhouette, so you don't see his face, he's completely black. And you just hear this screaming, help! Somebody help! Very loud, but his face is not moving, his head is not moving, so it looks wrong. And it's stuff like that really freaks me out, since the audio doesn't fit.
If you read the stories, it's not someone's always dying, but it's always they can anticipate that something is wrong, gut feeling, or things are wrong. It's like always it's a typical horror film, isn't it? Well, let's go hiking into the woods, let's go camping. It always plays around this aspect. Let's say it's a group of 5 people, and then suddenly one guy goes off for a piss or something like that, and they come back and something's not right, behavior wise, or they always say there's like a metallic taste to the air. Yeah. And they're like, something's not right, he's acting weird, and then he disappears again, and then the guy comes back again, and he's like, oof, that was a long piss. And everyone's like, what do you mean? You've been and gone? It's like, no, just came back. And that's when it's like, ooh,
God. Yeah, I think that's what horror movies do like playing around with the most, is when a normal, quote-unquote, person is trapped by a demon or a skinwalker or whatever, and is just trapping others. And I do think that's one of the scariest forms, in all honesty. The fact that someone could trap someone could just take the form of something else and just trap you. I think that is the scariest out of all of them. And I at night, if I'm watching any of those videos at night, it's really hard for me to get them gone away from my mind before I go to sleep. I usually don't have nightmares about them, but it just takes me longer to sleep. And I think I'm gonna take up to your advice and just watch Family Guy before I go to sleep then, if that happens.
Simpsons, something where you can just hard reset the brain.
Exactly, and then just move on. Which is
Or even read a book.
yeah.
I've been really self-conscious. I've not read a good book in a long time. So I'm gonna have a little rummage around, see what's a good thing to read.
Star Wars books. Star Wars books are fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was wanting something, because I'm like a little history nerd. I quite like history.
Right.
So I don't know. I just have a weird obsession with like ancient Egypt. I just love
Egypt.
ancient Egypt. So I might find a good book on that to read or something.
That's a good one. Actually, for the people at home, if you have a good book about Egypt, let us know in the comments. And if you're on Spotify, then you can head over to YouTube. You don't have to, but it's a possibility. And we want to thank you all for listening very much. This was a very interesting topic, and I think we've been over more topics than ever before. I think we've never been sidetracked this much.
It's just a shotgun spread of rabbit holes.
Yes. But I do hope you enjoyed. Sleep well.
Yeah, don't watch any spooky videos before bed.
Don't watch any spooky videos before bed. If you do, watch a Family Guy or Rick and Morty or whatever. And we will see you in the next episode of RBS Go. See ya!
Bye!
Just to feel good.